We are playing with Banana in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Guardian Hub podcast. This is episode 238, and guess what? We talk about Destiny. Is that right, Cyn? We talk about Destiny on this show?
Yeah. We talk about
Sometimes,
Destiny.
most of the time.
We play while gaming. Or podcast while gaming.
We talk about Destiny, we talk about Destiny the game.
Destiny the something.
Destiny the something. How are you tonight?
Oh, well as I can be, sir. How about yourself?
I am good. Nothing too interesting to report. Why was I not here last week? I think, I had a friend come in from out of town.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
the only time they could meet. So I did let you all know a little bit ahead of time. And anyone who's just listened to this episode but didn't listen to last week, feel free and check out our whole extensive back catalog. Last week we had you and Rodimus holding down the fort.
Rodimus. Yes, we did.
Tonight,
as best as we could.
As best as you could. Tonight looks like it'll be me and Sinkleberry.
Sinkleberry.
Don't
Kevin
have
Cyn James.
Kevin Cyn James. Yes, we got to do some Kevin James movie trivia. That's what we should start doing, is going down the line of all his movies he's been in. And you haven't seen Mall Cop, have you?
Paul Blart.
Yeah, you have.
The first one, not the second one.
Okay, well, the second one is on Netflix, so we should have a movie night of it.
Yes, we should.
It just came onto Netflix this month. I don't know if it was the first time or not, but it's back or it's there.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. I'm game for a movie night.
Yeah, it's not horrible by any means. It's one of the ones that's like good enough for a sequel, not like a horrible sequel. I think I remember liking the first one a little bit better, but I don't think that was because the second one was bad in comparison to what it's supposed to be. You know, like that type of a movie. It's not going to be award-winning for sure.
It's just cheesy fun.
Yes, cheesy fun. I mean, we have at least a question or so we'll get to tonight from our community. We'll have stuff we're talking about in Destiny. The game that I hopped into recently is I have an Ubisoft subscription that I occasionally have going. And I started it up because I forgot that Assassin's Creed Mirage came out a little bit ago, last month. And I love the Assassin's Creed games, and I finally am like, oh yeah. And it's pretty good, I'd say. The only kind of like complaints that people have is this game is definitely smaller than most of the other games, but a lot of people are actually saying that's a good thing, because usually when they come out with the Assassin's Creed games, they're like too big. Like a lot of people don't finish them. You know, it's like 200 hours, whatever. Like this campaign is supposed to be a lot shorter, but they say it's like action-packed most of the whole time. It's not like, you know, hours and hours where you're just exploring the map, which is good also for people. But I'm liking the feel of it so far, and it'll just be a little good distraction while we come into the Thanksgiving break holiday for those that are, you know, have some time off. I certainly not interested in doing too much in Destiny right now. We were talking before the show. I really wish the new season started this coming Tuesday. You know, the Tuesday right before Thanksgiving. That'd be awesome for everyone who does have some time off. Just hop into it, hit it hard. But now we have to wait for the Tuesday after. This month is going slow for me.
Boo-hoo.
Boo. You're not going to be able to hop in much anyways. It's not like...
No, my work schedule doesn't take any time off.
Yes, but they did announce the dungeon will be just the Friday right after, December 1st. It's coming like right away, which is kind of normalish, but it's good that we have that date. So mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. December 1st, 9 a.m. Pacific for what time is that, Cyn? For Eastern?
12 Eastern.
Wow. You can figure it out.
I can try.
Actually,
It's
it probably would
the
have
only
been,
recognized time zone, so of course
it probably
I can do the
would have
math.
been more confusing if I went the other way. Okay, so if something is at 9:30 Eastern, what time is it in California?
6:30.
Oh, man, you've been practicing, I guess.
Yeah, it's the central and the other time zones that get a little confusing.
What's so hard?
I can never
Okay, what comes
remember which one's one or two.
You don't even know what's next to you. It's central.
It's
on,
something.
Come on. It's certainly not mountain. The mountains are not, the big mountains in the U.S. are not in the Central Plains area. That's for sure. Just think of it that way. You got to look at the topography map of the U.S. It makes a lot more sense. Pacific is by the Pacific Ocean. Eastern is on the eastern seaboard. Central is somewhat central, and mountain is where the big mountains are.
I'll give
Easy.
you a big mountain.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Guardian Hub after dark.
Not allowed.
No, I just had to throw that in there for Dad McNasty in the Discord earlier, talking about some after dark. I'm calling you out. We'll see if he listens.
Yeah, we will see. Talked about crying in our chat and other things. Yeah.
Too Blart, too Paul, too Blart. I'm too fast for y'all. Shoot, I don't think I had a more interesting week like you with gaming. I've just done some Destiny. That's been about it. I'm played a little bit of Iron Banner here before and semi during the initial opening part of the podcast. And it was interesting. I was getting a little flustered there with Tiku's divination and how effective it was. So I'm surprised I haven't seen that more in Crucible. It's usually the other bows that you see. But yeah, that Tiku's was doing some work. Don't know what the guy was running, but he was a crafty little hunter. Shoot, I definitely been wanting to jump into some other games there, especially like you said, it's going to be another week before we have the new season drop. So I wouldn't mind spending a little time in the DLC. Maybe I'll start it sometime next week over Thanksgiving night, and I might want to play a little bit of the Cyberpunk DLC because I have not delved into that. I might have done a little bit of Diablo here, maybe about an hour or so. Was it the other night?
Yeah, I don't know if it was before the other podcast, but I wasn't on that one anyways.
Yeah, I think it was after the podcast, actually. I think it might have been Saturday or Sunday, maybe. I can't remember. My days melt together, rather.
Well, let's do live reaction of I haven't been to Eververse this week yet. And so I was looking at this emote, red light, green light. It's interesting. It's an emote that you can change it halfway through by pushing the triangle button if you're on PlayStation. The problem is it's the wrong order. It starts with green, and then you can push the button to go to red, but then the red goes away on its own after a little bit. The green will stay as long as you want. Then you push the button. It's even called red light, green light. Couldn't you see this being a good thing like in raids? Like you have it paused on red, and then when someone's ready, you switch it to green? Am I missing something here?
Squid Games.
Oh, this is so close to being amazing.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's very Squid Games-ish, right? Because, when you stop, that doll will send out a bunch of stuff and shoot you.
Yeah, but are you missing the point? It's like
I think it's green light first and then stop. And I think that to me, when I saw it and pulled it up when you did, reminded me of Squid Games 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, the title is red light, green light, but the emote goes green and then red. And not only that, the green pauses and the red doesn't. It just goes quickly. So I don't know. A hoverboard emote. Actually, this is pretty cool. It looks like a skateboard or like a snowboard or something. And then, actually, I think I'll get that glow stick dance.
The glow stick rave dance. That's what that is. It's like
I usually
some kind
like
of ravey
the
dance.
dance emotes, but yeah, this one is a little bit not as interesting to me. Controverse hold ornaments. Yeah, I'm finally going to get these. So spending some more bright dust there. Luminarch ornament. Yes, this is a good one. Finally going to get that.
Okay, sold. You talked.
So I spent about 4,500 bright dust.
I'm kind of
Something like that.
weighing in on maybe buying the red light, green light one.
Dude, I know it's so cool in theory, but how would you use it? You just you can't even say red light, green light. You're just paused on the green, and then you can switch to red, and then the red goes away on its own after a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if maybe the quick animations there on the Eververse, maybe you can swap back and forth. That I don't know.
No,
But I could
buy
be
it. Let me know.
I could see it being fun, like in a party raid, right? You can say, okay, everybody go, and then when the red lights stop, everybody's got to stop and freeze or something. I don't know. People can get creative. I think it could be a good thing.
Yes, that could be good, I guess, but that's kind of silly.
You know what? I'm
Stop
gonna
in
get
the
it.
middle of stuff.
I'm just gonna go ahead and get it. 3,200 bright dust down.
Yeah. But hey, there's your live update of the Eververse store for the week. Can't promise we'll do this every week, but hey, it's something we should have been doing all along when there's not as much other stuff to talk about. And there's stuff to talk about. We do have some news in the Twid and whatnot. Should we get into that?
We can.
Anything else
I'm okay
you
with
wanted to
that.
talk about you've been doing in the game?
I skimmed the Twid a little bit earlier.
Let's see what we got. Actually, let's do a question here first. You can get the Twid loaded up if you want, and I will too, but I knew we had a question, I believe, from Mr. Monkey. Question for the show. A few seasons ago, Bungie said the seasonal rhythm would change, but it would take some time. How would you rate this season, and how would you like next season to go? One activity maybe, or match made at all skill levels? He does the kissy face. You want to go with that first? I definitely have some answers.
Yeah, so how would I rate this season, and how would you like next seasons to go? One activity maybe, or match made at all skill levels. So let's break this down, right? This season, it's been okay. I think we've talked about this a little bit prior, right? With the Embaro engine and the seasonal beats. I know I remember talking about, maybe not last week, but maybe the week before. I don't think I ever gave it an actual rating, but I would say I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. It was pretty good in that regards, especially with the teasing of the 15th Wish. That to me kind of made it all up. Now, I don't play a lot of the seasonal activities over and over in Triumph Grind like I used to, and I kind of lose interest out of doing them unless I really need to do something with them to progress either the season or something in particular I'm chasing. So how would I like the next seasons to go? And I know next season we're going to be on the same path that Bungie's had now for months. It's going to be similar to what we have now, right? We're in the 4 seasonal model, with Final Shape being a 3 season or 3 episode, if you will, story beats or kind of a rhythm. I think that's kind of where we're going to see most of that shakeup. One activity, Mr. Monkey. I think one activity would be a sufficient amount for a seasonal beat. I don't think having multiples, it gets a little bit much, especially having to go into multiple things and jump back and forth. I think it is a bit much with that. And then match made. Yeah, let's keep a match made. They're match made right now. And I think we did have something recently with one of the higher levels. Maybe it was Festival of the Lost, where they had the Legend Lost sectors for the event. They were match made. So yes, I would say match made for all skill levels. I don't see a problem in that.
All right, Mr. Monkey. Yes, we are definitely noticing what they said would be taking some time and coming out. I rate this season as actually amazing. A 9 to 9.5. You know, if we're just talking about seasons and not any expansions, this is one of the best seasons we've ever had as far as amount of content, the card system, multiple activities, how they spaced it out, things that we go back into like the Enviro engine, several cutscenes. Everything about this season was about as good as they could get. Now, I always, but with from what we know Bungie can do, and hopefully things will be even different or better in the episode model later on. But this season was really, really good. And I would like the next season to be just like this. Definitely multiple activities, because for me, having multiple activities is what adds to the interest. We talk about having that awe of Destiny that we got at the beginning when we're first going through campaign missions or stuff. You're not going to get that awe from doing bounties or replaying strikes or gambit. You need new activities to have something in there. And yeah, the activities won't always be interesting for very long necessarily, but it is new stuff for at least a while. And when you come back and then in the activities, not only are you completing them, but you're finding little secrets in them week after week. It's not a lot, but it's still something that I think is almost as good as what Destiny can do. So the only other thing they should add, yes, Mr. Monkey, you know we always have this discussion. Legend match-made activities are perfectly fine. It's not going to cause any big problems. They tested this with the Legend Lost or Haunted Lost Sectors. People say like, oh, well, I had some bad experiences. I wanted some people didn't get it done. I'm like, it's not really any worse. I've seen this even happen in strikes, let me tell you, regular strikes. So give people the option. It's better than not being able to do it at all, right? And then if you don't want to take that chance, you still have your choice to fire team up, go on the LFG app or whatever. But I don't think we're really out anything by generally allowing Legend activities to be match made if you want your choice to go in it that way or not. Obviously, I've said all along, it's not like we probably want to make Master or Grandmasters match made, or raids, maybe even. That's a much bigger discussion, maybe, on some level of a raid. But for the Legend seasonal things, Legend activities in general, yeah, it's fine. Why not?
Yeah. And Scoot in the chat, he gave it a rating of 6.3 out of 10. Era storylines are all the same. I do kind of agree with that. Era storylines seem kind of, I don't know how to explain it, very similar.
It's always interesting to me. I forget this. Most people tend to rate seasons on the storyline. I usually don't. I mean, yeah, the storyline has a little bit of a factor in for me. And I think that's also, too, why people didn't like the Season of Plunder as much. But for me, it's more about the activities and the pacing and how many things come out, how many secret missions there are, the actual content. Because the storyline is such a small part that even if it's amazing, okay, we saw it 2 minutes and it's done. I want good content that I actually like going into a few times. I'm not downplaying that, but no. And as far as if I had storyline alone, I actually kind of liked it. I would give the storyline an 8, my own personal opinion, but overall, still the season in general a 9.5.
Yeah. And
what do you give the storyline then, Cyn? Like lower, I assume?
Storyline was definitely lower, and I kind of quickly got through it, and then that was about it. And again, the Enviro engine, the secrets that came with
doesn't matter how quickly you get through it, but did you like the story? I think that's what
it was okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I think it kind of served a overall purpose, and it was okay for that.
Gotcha. Yeah. I liked it. The only complaint I would have, it's kind of a good thing because it gets people to talk about the lore cards more and force people to kind of discover that, because we learned some really important lore story pieces in the lore. but I have mixed feelings. That could be a downside for a lot of people also, because probably the lore cards are best served as minor after story, but they had a few that most people would consider major beats, major story information in the lore cards. And people are like, couldn't have they made the cutscene like even 5 seconds longer to add a few more things in, or things like that. So
Yeah, I understand that part.
okay, so good question. I don't know if we have any other questions this week, but if anyone in the chat want to give any other questions or comments, of course, as we go along in the show, we will talk about what you're saying.
We'll answer them. You ask, we'll answer.
Mm-hmm. This week in Destiny.
The Twid.
This week in Destiny.
We start off Greetings Guardians this week in Destiny. We are 7 days closer to the season of the Witch.
Are you going to read it word for word?
No.
Okay.
It was just that part. We did get a recap this as far as what came out this week. One of my favorite things was the Season of the Witch, Wish trailer, where they teased
we go
the
from
Wish wall.
Season of the Witch to Season of the Wish.
Wish, yes.
So,
Season of the WWs.
Dubba.
What did you think about the trailer? I kind of enjoyed it, actually.
Oh, yeah, that was within this last week, too. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a teaser trailer. I liked it. It was funny. I watched an Astrocross reaction thing on it. He was being sarcastic. He was purposely, he's like, now watch, everyone. Watch the magic as we take this, 10-second teaser trailer and turn it into a 30-minute discussion. And he was trying to keep a serious face, but he was kind of laughing also. He's like, so first we have this portal that a Guardian's going through. Now, what can we learn about the portal? What kind of portal is it? Where does the portal go? Is the color important? And he was just being so funny, trying to and he couldn't keep that going very long. But trying to be funny, yeah, let's break this down into a 30-minute discussion. But we did see on the wish wall, it's do wishes. And I was on there, whoa, a new one. It shows basically a picture of the dragon face, right?
Oh yeah, and or a dragon
Ahamkara face, yeah,
Ahamkara,
to be
right?
Technical, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that was the first thing that I noticed. It's oh, new symbol. Now, whether or not we're going to get that in the raid, that's a different story, or if we have to go in the raid to do it.
Yeah, right. I'm sure it's just going to be seasonal activity stuff.
So you're saying we're going to have a wish wall in the season? Well, no. I mean, that part is...
Yeah, actually, I do think it'll be an instance of the raid. It'll just be the playable space, but instanced off into a thing.
I could
kind of
that.
That'll be, in fact, that'll be the area where the vendors bullshit is. It'll be
we'll access it from the helm.
Yeah, that's true. But remember, the helm had a portal this season to Erismorn's little land, so it can have a portal again to
portal to Titan
City. Yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, they've been continuing that trend
for a while. So that's all that trailer is, folks. Is our Guardians going through the portal from the helm to the seasonal vendor area, which may have the wish wall, but it's not like we're actually going to be in the raid doing an extra wish.
Oprah had a special and started giving away portals.
I do have hope. It'd be nice if they could add up something into the raid, but I don't have any kind of indication that they would actually do that.
Yeah. And like you said, it could be an instance of it.
Well, okay, so if we do get a 15th wish, let's talk this through a little bit more. I mean, all the wishes...
I don't think it's a matter of if. I think it's a matter of how at this point. How are they going to unroll it?
Yeah.
Because it already seems like we're going to get it.
All the other wishes were meant to be used in the raid. It doesn't mean this last one has to be used in the raid also. But I'm just trying to think it through if it would make more sense for it to be used in the raid versus a bigger storyline. Because it's a little limiting too if it can only be used in the raid. That'd be wild. I'd be impressed. But you really think they're going to have a season a season, all the titles we've had every season or season campaign storyline where you actually have to do the raid? I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I agree with that. How can you force people to do the raid then at that point for a seasonal beat? But I mean,
Well,
on the same token, the seasonal beat doesn't have to be about the 15th wish and only a 3-person fire team getting it. It could unlock it. And maybe it does give us something in the raid. I mean, there's still a lot that we don't know about it.
that would be cool. That'd be cool. So like it unlocks it and you see some cool cutscenes and you do some activity, but extra credit you get to go in the raid. See, that's the way to play it. And then if you don't need to go in the raid, but still, what would they do there? It's like, what would even be meaningful? Hopefully it's nothing stupid, like again, like the explodey sounds or the confetti or, some of those weird ones.
Right.
I mean, I'm just trying to think, oh, I know. But no one would do this, though. Never mind. But like the 15th wish, you have to do Riven legit.
Oh,
Paul McCartney.
that would be interesting.
The Destiny song music stuff.
Oh, man. Time will tell. 2 more weeks. Well, we're going to learn more.
Yeah, maybe not all of it yet, but some of it.
Right. Something very interesting in the next part of the TWAB, Dragon's Breath.
Oh, go figure.
That to me was interesting for the simple fact that was Destiny 1, right? And I don't really remember that rocket launcher. I know it was there, but I don't remember like exactly what it was all about. Do you remember it?
I mean, I think I had one, and I think I remember hearing about it. It was good back, but I think by the time I started playing, there was just as good, if not better, options. It seemed like Truth or Gallahorn was just kind of the meta,
Right. So it goes into it, burn the world, exotic, intrinsic. The fuel counter passively increases the longer you go without firing it to a maximum of ×5. That reminds me of what is that grenade launcher? We had a ticker where you had to make kills. The worm one that we use in DSC for high damage.
Parasite.
Parasite, yes, that one. It kind of reminds me of the little ticker of it. And gets you ×5. It does get rid of that counter once you fire it. And then it also has something called high octane. With this, nearby ignitions instantly refill your dragon's breath with 2 fuel. Plus, when the fuel fully refills, it reloads itself. That's kind of interesting that it goes and reloads itself.
That is really good for a grenade launcher, of course.
Yeah. Pyromancer, exotic catalysts. Catalyst passively replenishes your dragon's breath's fuel faster. Eliminating combatants with this weapon causes them to spawn fire sprites as well. Not sure if I would be fire sprites using this weapon. I don't know if it would be worth the exotic slot for the fire sprite aspect, but I think that is a nice little touch to it.
Yeah.
All right. Season of the Wish economy.
Yeah, it's kind of recap stuff, right?
The economy a lot of stuff. That's recap. It goes on, kind of explains the breakdown of the legendary shards, deprecation, and how how that's going to play out. I think they you skim through it one more time. They go over the economy of the shards and how that's going to deprecate. The final deprecation will be in final shape. They also go up to say that the vendors are going to get some rework here. Banshee is next in the spotlight, taking note from the other vendors. Basically, they're going to get the engram treatment. Some new rewards from all sectors. Looks like they're going to be throwing in some weapons in a daily rotation. Master gets 100% drop rates for...
Assuming you get all the champions down.
Yes, correct. And then the 70% for Legend, which I seem to think that seems to be in line with what it was for the exotic drops anyway, right?
No. Legend was like 20% and Master was like 25% or something, or 30 or something. It was much lower, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And then after that, ritual engrams. They do put a table in here kind of breaking down how the cost is going to play out for ritual engram decoding.
Wait, I do want to stay real quick on the Lost Sector thing, because this is kind of interesting. Not so much to me the weapons yet. I'm sure there'll be some ones we may want to go for, but what they're doing is they're saying these weapons, you may have noticed, were available as world loot pool drops. So what's going to happen is the newest world loot pool drops will then eventually go into the Lost Sector chests after they're just as world. How come I can't say this very well? World loot pool weapons. They go there first. Then the next season they'll go to Lost Sector drops, and then after enough time has passed, older weapons then move to being only available in the focusing pool through the gunsmith. So they're kind of giving people different ways to get these. It's almost like it's more rare and hard at first. The newest weapons are just random drops. Then when they get a little bit older, you can kind of like focus them by going to rotating Lost Sectors. And then when they get a lot older, then you can super focus them in the gunsmith focusing pool. So that's kind of cool. Sorry, just wanted to mention that.
Fair enough. I'm not going to break down the cost for the engram decoding. I definitely recommend going and checking it out yourself if you want to learn more about it.
I want to learn more. No, I don't.
They go on about the veteran services last week. Past week, U.S. celebrated Veterans Day, and you can check that out. I think they gave a link for the volunteer work was shared. Iron Banner Last Call. We're the final week of Iron Banner, as I'm currently playing it and being distracted by it, just because I haven't played it much this season. They go on to tell you what's leaving and what's coming and what's returning.
Cyn's leaving and coming. You're talking like this, where you're getting louder.
Oh yeah. That's because the mic. I'm back on the original, the XLR mic. So when I go up from the side to side,
yep,
that stuff. Already discussed the dungeon drop when that's coming. We know that's coming December 1st. And let's see, got Prime drops, known issues. Oh, Safe and Sound. Did you watch that video?
No. I do want to say the graphic below it is amazing, but is this video good?
Yeah. Now I like that song too, which helps. It's kind of a fun little song. The Safe and Sound. Yeah, that one.
What? Let me see.
Safe and Sound. I can't remember. I can't remember who sings it, but yeah, that song. And
oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, fun little video.
The song is douchey to me for some reason. Sorry.
And then there's all that. They close out. Find that exclamation point. You got a cat picture, and then thanks for hanging. Destiny 2 community team.
Ooh. Nice.
What, the cat picture?
No, just all the information. We went through
There's
it. We gave you the This Week in Destiny. Now,
it's magical.
We're going to know more. I mean, a lot of times right before, I don't think we've ever had a season drop like right after Thanksgiving. So usually like the Twids are like super ghost town,
Right.
But they did say they're going to give us more information on the upcoming season in the next Twid. So there you go.
Yeah, I always seem to think they were doing them like the day of the seasonal drop, but hopefully, kind of curious what they're going to give us.
What it'll probably just be, yeah. I'm not saying they're going to like a trailer, but yeah, more like other information. But it just won't be like totally empty. Is all I was saying.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely excited for it to come around. I think it's time for something new in the game, and I'm super excited about the 15th wish. That's just me.
What if it tells you to do Riven legit flawless?
No, thank you.
Then you're not excited, right?
I'm not excited. It kind of reminds me of going doing the flawless runs of Riven. Oh gosh, that was.
But they weren't even that hard. But then imagine having to do Riven legit flawless. To be fair, that's not that hard once you get used to it, but it's.
So you're saying you want to learn?
I don't want to learn. I kind of know what to do, and I don't appreciate it. But I'm saying I'm not going to cry about it if we have to start doing it for some reason.
You just won't play it.
No, I probably would. I still like Last Wish.
It's been a while since we jumped in there. Maybe 3 weeks. I seem to remember playing it
Not
with somebody
that
that run
long.
it.
So many people don't run it at all.
Yeah, that's true.
3 weeks.
I mean, it's
How many raids have we been
often.
doing?
I know
We've slowed down a little bit.
we have. It's that
Everyone
time of year.
has. Yeah.
It's holiday seasons. With you have Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 3 months of holidays. All lined up, jam packed with family stuff. Yeah, it's going to slow down a little bit, right? That's just the nature of the time of the year that we're in. But still doing raids every Saturday with a crew, and
That's
Wheel
not
of
true. Not
Misfortune.
every Saturday.
Not you, but me for the most part.
You did one. I thought no one did one last Saturday.
Did we not?
Anyways.
I can't remember.
Oh, sin. But anyways, yeah, I mean, the point is it's normal. Not as many people are playing right now, but also there's still things going on. And sure enough, we've even had a few new people join the Discord recently and talk about grouping up and doing things. And so if you're listening to this show and you're like, hey, how can I play with you all? Well, join the Discord. Say you want to do something that you haven't done yet. And chances are someone will jump on that because that is a little more interesting helping someone through something new for the first time than doing the same old.
Yeah. I do want to ask you, because I think we went down this rabbit hole one week when you weren't here. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Maybe
I
it
was there
last
the week before.
Yeah, I know. My memory is shot when the wins and wears. I kind of vaguely things. So kind of went on a rant 1 week about the seasonal model, right? And we talked a little bit earlier about kind of Mr. Monkey's question for you and the whole resetting idea of weapons and stuff. If Destiny were to go down the rabbit hole like Diablo does, where every season you start over, how would you feel about that?
No, I wouldn't like it either. But I remember what you were saying. I'm fine with the idea of sunsetting weapons. I always was, remember? We've talked, if anyone's been listening to us forever, when sunsetting first happened way back several years ago, and they didn't do a fair enough test of it, and there was a couple things they got wrong, but the way they were doing it was a rotating season by season, but when they were out for at least a year, and then they would remove a weapon. So if you follow that logic, you got to try it for at least a year to have enough new weapons to come in to see how it goes. Regardless, or irregardless, I would be fine with sunsetting weapons. Now, I don't see how that relates exactly to leveling up again. That's kind of a different point to me. But you're just saying, like, you have to re-earn or what? Like the okay,
Correct.
I see what you're saying. Like they're taking away, but it's the same weapons every season, or is there new weapons?
Well, like in Diablo, they have a ton of weapons, right, for each class and stuff that drops. But when you're starting your character over, you have nothing, right?
Yeah, and
You
it's
don't
kind of
have
the same
any armor.
weapons each
You
season,
just
right?
get
I mean, I
some
know they had a
generic-
few new ones in, but
Right. And the RNG in that doesn't
No,
seem
gross.
as generous as,
I do not like that
Destiny for that
idea
fact.
because well, at least not the way Diablo does it. I mean, Destiny does, I think, more new weapons per season than Diablo does per season.
Yeah.
So why get rid of the same weapons each season and re-earn the same weapons? What they should just do is get rid of seasons altogether and then add new weapons. Yeah, I just don't understand why you would want to like regrind for the exact same weapons every season. That just seems like a lot of work of the same ones. Yeah, grind for new weapons, get rid of some weapons. I'm fine, but I don't want to keep regrinding for the exact same weapons season after season. I definitely don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
Why would anyone want to do that?
I don't know. Diablo's Diablo. The grind is.
Well, let's talk about, on the topic of power leveling, okay? Because this is kind of a similar topic. And
Is
remember,
it though?
it
Because I
is.
agree that the power leveling is a lot different than the weapon grinding.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a similar topic of things that people can grind for and reset, but yeah, it may have different appeals to what grinding for power versus weapons. Now, to me, I don't get it. To me, it's very similar. That was the whole thing. Remember, there was people on both sides of the, like, oh, I like being able to grind for the 10 power level of the season. I'm like, why? That's just such an awkward in between. Like, have like 50 or have like 0, and they switched to 0. But remember, for a while, like 3 years ago, it was 50 per season. Like, they had the big expansion. It was like 150, 250, something like that. And then it was 50 for seasons for a while. At least for a year, they did 50 per season. And that was quite a bit of a grind. And not all of it was pinnacle. Most of it was like powerful, and it was still just like 10 pinnacle or whatever. But 50 grind per season, some people liked that. I didn't really like it. I didn't hate it because back then I was still a little more into Destiny, so it was something I was naturally going to do without putting in too much effort. But now that all is said and done, where do you think more people are happy now that we don't have a power grind every season? Because I know there's still some people that I hear, oh, I don't have the motivation because there's no power grind. I'm like, that's so funny if that's like one of the most important motivating things in the game for you, but you do you. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm sorry. But like, if I had to guess, and Bungie has the numbers too, like probably more people are happy not having the grind than having the grind. I'd probably be willing to put money on that. I don't know how much more.
Scoot said in the chat he is happy about the grind.
Yes. But I still bet that more people were happy to get rid of the grind or not, or else why did Bungie go for it? But
there are other games to play. He also mentioned he doesn't understand people's obsession with being max power. You don't need it. Yes and no. I actually agree with, for the most part, you don't need it as long as you have the minimum required power to do most content, right? The only time it ever becomes into play is when you are going for some of those activities like a Grandmaster where, yes, the power might matter at that point, or trials where your seasonal, as it's structured now, your seasonal power does not in effect. It is about being max power, because if you're not, you would be at a disadvantage. So
we all know this. I feel like people forget it, and that's why it's good to say it, right? It's like they can't admit that in their brain. Like, well, are you doing Grandmasters all the time? If you're complaining about not being max power, well, no. Well, then you don't need to be max power. Oh, well, but I need to. Like.
Yeah, and I think the initial thought is that most people want the max power because they feel it's going to make the other content easier. But
why?
We know that
we know set them straight.
Not
then.
To be true. Well, no. Yeah. I mean, we know it's not true in today's Destiny content and economy, for the fact that on some of these activities they're putting plus modifiers on the power. So regardless of the power that you're at, you're still going to be 5 behind it because it's intentionally meant to be a certain difficulty.
Yeah. And even before they did that, it still didn't matter as much as people thought they did, because there's usually about a 30 power delta. So if, let's say you're like, when they were doing the 10 power grind per season and they're like, oh, I got to get to the plus 10 like right away. I'm like, no, you don't. Unless you're doing Grandmaster, the plus 10, well, you will not feel that. You don't start feeling things until about 15, 20 difference.
Yeah. And you definitely feel it then.
Yeah. Anyways.
And it's all about your builds. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry I was roundabout on that, but hopefully that answered the question. No, I wouldn't want to grind. I certainly would not want to regrind the same weapons each season. Taking weapons away per season, yeah, if that's some form of sunsetting, I'm okay with that. As long as there's new weapons, which there has been generally anyways per season. So it's fine. What else would we have to? We do have to regrind a lot of other things if you think about it. Vanguard rank resets, Crucible, Gambit.
Yeah, there is
the season pass. we have to regrind a lot more than we think. So I don't want to be regrinding weapons also of the same weapons.
That's pretty fair. Oh,
Can you imagine like you have like just like I mean I'm thinking a lot of exotics here, but like my Cartesian coordinate or something. You have like a good RNG drop, and you have to regrind that again. I mean, that's the whole point of RNG. And I guess I understand again why people are like, oh, but that's why they didn't like it taken away for sunsetting also. Again, I promise I'd be okay with that personally if I've had it for quite a while and then it goes away, a year or more. But I don't want to be, and then there's some other cool new thing that kind of replaces it somewhat, but I don't want to be regrinding my Cartesian coordinate every season and hoping I'm getting the correct roll again.
Yeah, I mean, just like if I look at my crafted weapons, like
I know this, it crafted or that's different.
Yeah,
but
so like my crafted weapons, like if they went away each season, like I have my Callus mini tool, it's a level 220, my Deliverance 199. I use those a lot, and having to grind for those specific roles or having to recraft them would be a little bit of a kick. But if they sunset it, I would just find something else, and those would be my main weapons that I play with. But again, I think I agree with you more so that if you're going to just get rid of the weapons, sunset them, but the regrinding each season to get the same weapons over and over would definitely be a no for me.
Yeah. And Diablo is quite a bit different because I feel like you don't really get ever too attached to a weapon. There are a few unique weapons, and yes, they have rolls on them, but it's not like you care so much about the base weapon. All you care about is the roll, the stats. So you don't really care oh, this is a so-and-so looking sword versus a different looking sword. It's just the stats.
Right.
You don't even really care the name or anything unless it's very rarely there's some uniques that you're going to want, but it's good. You play Diablo more, so maybe you can explain that better, but that's my feeling of it. It's like I don't care what weapons I'm getting. I'm just looking at the stats of what's good for my build.
Yeah.
It's not like you're caring I want to use a sidearm versus it's definitely there's different gun feel for in Destiny. I want to run a sidearm or a fusion or something like that, but in Diablo it just doesn't work like that. You don't have really, you kind of do in some aspects, but you don't. Yeah, it's totally different.
He says
as a barbarian, weapon choice matters. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, but still, it kind of works for Diablo, but I also don't. It's not so much for me in Diablo. Sorry, we're going on this tangent now. The regrinding of weapons isn't what's bothering me in Diablo. It's more just the power levels. There's certain ranges that are slog, kind of. I forget what number it is. I think it's between 30 and 45 is kind of a slog, and then some other numbers, and then having to see just dang things on the map that you don't want to do over and over. I want to have the option to not have to redo the freaking side quests every time if I choose not to.
Yes. Those little exclamation points always popping up.
Yeah, and other things like that. But yeah, Diablo is what it is. I don't know how many seasons I'll be doing in it in the long run, but it doesn't even matter because they're already coming out with an expansion next year, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'll be on for the expansions like that. The seasonal grind, I agree. I don't know if I could do it every season, but as of right now, I don't have all the characters made, so I'm just having fun kind of playing around. Like this time around, I did a druid, and it's kind of an interesting choice. Probably not the best choice or the easiest one to build around, but it's still interesting nonetheless.
Right on. Sorry, I'm yawning. All right,
what
else do we have to talk about, or we can start wrapping this up? Any last minute things for us in the chat?
We can keep it short, other than the fact that I just got error coded while trying to load into Iron Banner.
Bleh.
Yeah. We'll keep it short.
All right. Sounds magical. That's what you would normally say.
Kate, that's my line.
We want to thank everyone who is in the Patreon channel. We really appreciate you. You are awesome, good people of the land.
Down under.
Supporting us, being a top secret channel. Oh, don't worry. There's no... I'm not even a good marketing this. I'm going to say there's no FOMO for the people that aren't in it. But hey, if you can afford $5 a month, that's all we ask.
We keep it minimal.
Yes. And you can support us and get access to a Patreon channel in the Discord. And you have benefits such as requesting name changes with us or other things. It's mostly just to help support the show. And always feel free to support more if you want. But I just want to keep it simple, just one level, and support how you like. Or not. We still love you.
Only thing I ask is just share the podcast with a friend in the Discord with a friend. Let this be a true hub where everybody can hang out and have some fun. And sometimes some After Dark.
There you go. We especially like our After Dark friends. If you have that type of mentality of wanting to be not, everyone is welcome, even PG level dispositions.
Correct. All are welcome.
All
come
are
one,
welcome.
Come all.
Yes. And watch out for Cyn. He's weird. Don't get caught in his dungeon basement.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right. Where are they going to find you? And don't say X is going to give it to
you. They can find me currently in my dungeon basement recording a podcast, or sometimes Twitch. You can find me there, Cyn Media or Cyn_Media. I can't remember, but I'm going to give it to you on X anyway. And Cyn_Media there. Blue Sky, Cyn Media. Don't forget, I do have some invites. If you're looking to get into that exclusive Twitter-like app, hit me up. I still got some invites. Kingsley, Dungeon Slayer Mac. Where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm not going to give it to you through X. Definitely Blue Sky is where it's at. And that's where it's calm and peaceful. You can hide from Cyn while he's trying to chase you down in X. You can find me as Kingsley Mac all the places. And you can find our show. I haven't made a show account in Blue Sky yet. I need to do that. But, you can find us. We are on X. At least our deets are there. I'll have the account up for now, even though I'm not doing much there. But most importantly, you want to know how to join our Discord, find other ways to listen to the show, share this with a friend, find information about joining our Patreon. It's really easy. You just go to our lovely website, which is very easy to remember. It's a nice-looking website. The website is www.theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the net.
Thank you, Cyn. And thank you for everyone who was tuning in live for the show. And also for everyone listening to this after the fact. We really appreciate you, and we will catch you all again next time. Have a good one.
Bye.
Okay, Cyn, piece of advice to end the show. Oh, shoot. Should I have done that beforehand?
It could be After Dark.
Okay, give me a piece of advice.
All right. I don't know if I can keep it Christmas theme this week, but piece of advice. Man.
Lame.
Yeah, all I got to say is work hard, good things will happen.
Seriously?
Yeah, seems right.
All right.
I mean, What, you mean to talk about burning bridges? There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You mean to go into that?
No. Here we go. Here's a good one from Scoot. Don't gift your wife a Weight Watcher membership.